was announced earlier this morning that Mason Taylor has been invited and has accepted the invitation to the Reese's Senior Bowl. And you may be saying, well, I think he's a junior. You would be right. But last year, prior to the 2024 edition of these college all-star games, it was deemed that draft-eligible juniors would be able to play in these all-star games and showcases. And so 15 played in the Senior Bowl this past year, and that number may grow this year. Mason Taylor was added to that number today, and that means that 6 LSU players will be in the Reese's Senior Bowl. That is second to only Oregon. So great representation down there, and our station will certainly be there. T-Bob and Jake always do a phenomenal job all week long from the Senior Bowl, which is the last week in January. We send Ribs down there as well to do some running for us, and it's a great week of content for us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and so very much looking forward to what they see from the LSU Tigers this year. I mentioned Mason Taylor. You'll see Emery Jones there, Garrett Dellinger there, Miles Frazier there, Kyron Lacey there, as well as Savion Jones from LSU. So a really high-profile group of visitors from LSU. And I think there's a lot to gain for all these players. I don't see a first-round pick among that group. Certainly Emery Jones could be, but I don't anticipate that he will be at this point. I think that it's interesting to see where Emery Jones works out at the Senior Bowl. We'll talk about it more when it shows up, but there's a lot of talk of Emery Jones potentially moving down to guard at the NFL level. I think it would make a lot of sense for him to work out at guard. He's put a lot, 3 years of SEC tape at right tackle out there. He wants to kick down to guard. I think that would be a really good thing for him over the course of that week. I was doing a Pro Football Focus piece for LouisianaSports.net yesterday and found out that Garrett Dellinger posted the second highest pass blocking grade on the LSU team for the season. The first highest was not Will Campbell, it was Miles Frazier. So LSU's 2 guards this past season did an incredible job in pass protection, and you saw Miles Frazier go out and play tackle in the bowl game against Baylor. He also played tackle at Florida International, his first collegiate stop. So that's another guy that I think could take some reps at other places, and if he wants to take some reps at tackle, I think that would be good. Versatility for offensive linemen is so critical. I mean, just look at the New Orleans Saints and what they've done over the year with some of their guys, like Andrews Pete, who's gone in and out, played in and out. That's just, it's so valuable, and you're able to stick on a roster so much longer if you're able to do multiple things. Landon Young has stuck around with the Saints with the ability to play inside and outside. So I think that this is a great week for potentially those 2 guys, Emery Jones and Miles Frazier, to get a look at both spots. I fully expect Garrett Dellinger to be a guard. Maybe he can work out at center. He did a little bit of that at LSU, so that would be another thing that would be very beneficial to him. So I think those guys have so much tape. Emery Jones, Garrett Dellinger, and Miles Frazier have started LSU for 3 years. So, like, the tape is out there. They kind of know what you can do at that spot, at that level with these guys in the SEC. But if you can go to the Senior Bowl and show a little bit more versatility, I think that's a big thing. I think that as far as Mason Taylor goes, I guess he can stand to gain a little bit in this. But, like, you're talking about a guy who has been ridiculously productive his entire time. I don't think he's going to set the combine on fire with his speed when he goes. I don't think he's going to measure at 6'7". In fact, I know he will not. He just is what he is, a super productive guy, but certainly not going to turn down an opportunity to compete. Kyron Lacey has got to show he can consistently beat man coverage and make catches. He's never going to run in the 4.3s. He's a good athlete, not a great one, and that's a guy that you're going to have to – the tape is going to have to prove to you that Kyron Lacey is what you hope he could be, and the Senior Bowl is certainly a great time for that. So I think it's a big spot for Kyron Lacey to get in those one-on-ones and win some of those reps against those senior college corners. As far as Savion Jones goes for LSU, this time last year, I had kind of given up on Savion Jones. I really believed, and I think I've said this a number of times, that you were looking at a kind of a lineage from Arden Key to Caleb Chason to B.J. Ojolari, and then Savion Jones would be next. There's kind of a list of that big, rangy edge player that really does a great job off the edge for LSU, especially rushing the passer. And Savion Jones had been on campus for 3 years and had never really done anything. And then Kevin Peoples had 1 year with him. And not that Savion Jones became a force rushing the passer, but he did do a better job against the run and flash a little bit as a pass rusher. So for me, this is a great opportunity for Savion Jones to go line up with some of the best tackles in this draft class and see what he can do in one-on-ones and in-game reps and practice reps. It's a big, big spot for him. I think that he probably of this group has the most to gain. I think I would put he, Kyron Lacey, and Emery Jones in that group. I think Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier kind of are who they are, though I did mention that Frazier could potentially go out and do a little bit more on the outside. But in any event, like, I'm excited for these guys to get to go one more time to put on that LSU helmet, and then for us to have such a great presence there at the Senior Bowl to get updates on how this is all going. It's a great thing for LSU to have this many guys that are going. I certainly do not believe that Jim Nagy's just throwing the LSU kids a bone because he comes on our pregame show for Guarantee every week and has a great relationship with our station that goes. I think he realized that these are pros that you're looking at here at LSU, but where they get drafted, how high they're selected, ultimately going to come down to kind of how things go over the next few months. There's a lot of tape on all these guys. All these guys have played a ton of football. Can you do anything here or there in the final spring before the draft to catch somebody's eye and move up and get a better spot in the NFL as far as your draft position goes? I'm interested in it. I did not know that Mason Taylor was eligible to play in the game, but I'm glad he is because I want to see him in that gold helmet one more time. Although, who knows? Half these guys may wear white helmets. That is a story for very much another day. But again, Emery Jones, Garrett Dellinger, Miles Frazier, Kyron Lacey, Savion Jones, and Mason Taylor, 6 LSU Tigers headed to the Senior Bowl. Only Oregon, who has 7 at this point, has more players currently committed to play in that game. So, hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.